Here we are with another episode of A Book a Day podcast. And as you know, this week we are discussing Kalidasa's epic work, Ritusamhara, or The Garland of Seasons as it is called in English. And so far we have discussed four seasons as Kalidasa describes them. First was summer, then the rainy season, then autumn, and then early winter. Now comes the winter. This is what is going to be the next season for most of us who live in India. And frankly speaking, we all are familiar with what winter brings for us, what happens in those times. But at the same time, it's equally fascinating to imagine and read what it was during the time of Kalidasa, around 1500 to 2000 years ago, how life was like back then. What used to happen during seasons, when the seasons changed, or something interesting happened in the weather patterns. What really happened to those societies, how they experienced it, did they enjoy it? And the answer, as far as Kalidasa is concerned, who was deeply interested in beauty of nature, of feminine beauty in human beings, he was completely absorbed by it. So, as far as he is concerned, we find that there was a lot of beauty and a lot of interesting things about different weathers. And as I said, in this episode, we are going to see what really happened in the winters. If you think about winters even today, what we see is not a lot of activity takes place during winters. We all get confined to our homes. We get all cozy and comfy and hide in our houses, and there's a lot of food and drinking involved. So all of that happens. But as far as the outside world, the outside activity is concerned, that gets minimized. And a similar theme you find in this chapter of Kalidasa's work, Ritusamhara, that there's not a lot of discussion on what is going on out there in the wild, as it was earlier during summers, rains, or autumn, what was going on in the landscapes. Here, very little mention of what is going on inside. A lot of focus is on the indoor activities, how people are enjoying their comfortable spaces indoors since they are not going outside a lot. And there's not much to do because you can't really go out, it's freezing cold. You would like to stay indoors, you would like to feel cozy, sleepy. So that was the case even back then. And the following lines will give you an idea when Kalidasa describes, right in the beginning itself, he starts describing what is going on in winters. So let me read a few lines. No more the fragrant sandal solve, cooled by the moonbeams, nor open terrace nor balcony, bathed by the silver moon of autumn, nor gentle breezes chilled by heavy frost, delight the people's minds. So, as you can see, a lot of focus on what is not there. A lot of things that earlier were happening, they're not there anymore. So, what is there? Let's see. The starlit nights of winter, decked with the sparkling constellations, are icy cold with frost, and colder still by moonlight. In the piercing chill, they are not enjoyed in the open air. So clearly, a lot of indoor activity. And what exactly is happening indoors? Let's find out in the next few lines. Ardent wives repair to their sumptuous bower, filled with the fragrant wreaths of aguru smoke, taking with them the tambula leaf and pigment, the chaplets of flowers and knickknacks of vanity, and their lotus mouths are scented with the wine perfumed with flowers. And as we read further, you get more into the inside lives of these husbands and wives, men and women, what they are doing. So let's read. Watching the face shadowed by thought, in tremor of fear and numb, of the husband spurned and reproved by for many a lapse, the proud young wife relents, and longing for love and tenderness, she weans her thoughts from the past. In the retired quiet of long winter nights, lusty youths are ruthless in the revels and sports of love. When the night has drained away, the young wives are limp with tired limbs and gingerly tread their way. So once again, coming back to that same passion and desire and lust between men and women. And we see once again that is going on here in the winters. And it's not really a surprise. This is what really happens in winters, isn't it? Now let's read further. Women hail the advent of winter. They are an adornment to the stars, with the bosom enfolded in tight bodices, and the limbs in colorful silk attired, and flowers entwined in the coiffure. Young lovers conquer the wintry cold by the glow of their warm, fresh youth, the glorious age meant to savor love's delight, pillowed on the beloved's fair breast, reflecting the ochre saffron hue. They lie with arms embraced and limbs interlaced in peace and slumberous calm. So you see the mood, even though there is lust, there is passion, desire, but it's also slightly laid back. It's a bit cozy. There's calm in the words, in poetry, and also, of course, in the season itself. And as I've told you many times before, these two things just go together in Kalidasa's poetry. The season is thunderous, rains, then the poetry just roars. Whereas in winters there's frost, there's chill, so a lot of calmness. Even in passion, even in the romantic activities, there's a lot of calm here. And then there is this paragraph which once again beautifully describes the life of a woman and as a lover, what she's experiencing. Just witness how beautifully in detail he captures this emotion. He writes, "In the silver morning, the young bride, sobered with the overstrain of love's delight, sees the nipples of her breasts and the resilient limbs embraced by the loved one. She goes from her sleeping room to other rooms with a smile concealed on the fringe of her lips." Isn't that wonderful? Then further also he talks about how women are waking up and there's a lot of sleepiness there, but they have to get up and then leave their beds in the morning. So all that has been described. So all of that, once again, very different from how the other seasons were described. Earlier there was a lot of mention of wildlife, nature. Here it's just the inner lives, the emotion, their lovers and their own lives. Another similar paragraph about lovers and what happens in the morning. It says, "In the rising light of the dawn, the maids examine their limbs for scars and nail marks, fingering the lower lips, tender like newborn leaves. They blush and, rejoicing at love's fulfillment, proceed to make up their faces. How simply and eloquently he paints this picture, and it's just perfect, perfect to imagine, and gives you this feeling of love and desire. And this is how it just ends and leaves you for wanting more. And we'll do that. We'll discuss the last chapter of Ritusamhara in the next episode. And then we'll discuss the spring season. We'll see what happens after winter, how the world changes, at least Kalidasa's world, how it changed from winter to spring. So keep following, stay with me, and I'll be back with a new episode where we'll be discussing spring season as imagined and described by Kalidasa. Thank you once again for listening, and do not forget to subscribe. I'll catch you the next time. Thank you.